Camera monitors are a great piece of equipment to have in your toolbox. Today, I'm going to show you the two types of monitors that I use, the functionality that I absolutely have to have in the monitors that I purchase, and also I'm going to show you exactly how I put these to use in my video production workflows. Well, hello and welcome. My name's Cree, and today we're talking about external video monitors. Now, just like all other video equipment, there's tons of options out there. So I'm not going to focus on specific monitors in this video, but I'm going to show you two different types of monitors. I'm also going to show you the functionality that I look for anytime I'm going to make a monitor purchase. These are just my must-haves, and regardless of what monitor you use, maybe these will resonate with you. And then I'm going to show you exactly how I'm using the functionality when I'm shooting my videos. The first type of monitor that I'm looking for is a monitor that has a screen that's larger than the screen that's on my camera. I can mount this either above my camera or I can mount it in front. You can really place these anywhere that you need to see what's happening in camera while you're shooting. This particular one is made by OC. I like it because it's nice and bright. It is so lightweight that if I am using this to rig up a camera, this is the external monitor that I typically go with. You can either use an NPF battery on the back, or what I do oftentimes is I'll use an NPF adapter, and I'll plug it into some sort of a larger size battery source like a V-mount battery. The second type of monitor that I use has the ability to record externally. This is useful if I am recording an event or if I just want a backup recording of whatever it is that I'm capturing. These monitors tend to be a little heavier than the other monitor that I showed you. This particular one is an Atomos Ninja 5. There are a number of these types of monitors out on the market. This one is heavier though because it has an external drive. This is a 1 terabyte drive. So this is nice because, again, if I am recording for a long period of time, I have plenty of memory to work with while I'm capturing that recording. Now, I don't typically use this monitor if I am in a run and gun situation, if I need my camera to be lightweight. This is used in more of a scenario where I'm set up, I'm not going to be moving around, and I can mount this on the camera stand, or even on the table in front of me. But these monitors that you can record externally to typically tend to be heavier, and you can see this one does not have those tactile buttons on front. This is a touchscreen functionality monitor. You cannot control your focus or any of your camera functionality using this monitor. It's a touchscreen for the monitor's functionality only, so that is an important distinction. So this is just a quick rundown of the two types of monitors that I use, either one that is just used to give me a larger sized picture of whatever it is that I'm recording so that I can see things a little better. It's lightweight, and the other one can record externally. The big payoff, though, is the weight. In order to use these external cameras, you do need to send a signal from your camera to the monitor. I have cameras that have an HDMI out signal, so I'm just capturing an HDMI in using a standard HDMI cable. The reason why I bring this up is because, first of all, you have to have a camera that's going to send a signal out to the monitor. And secondly, there's two different ways that you can send the signal. One way is to keep all of the data that's on your screen so that you can see all of the different controls that are on your camera, which can be helpful in some situations. And another way is to send a clean feed. So you can send a clean feed to your camera. It basically removes all of the readings that are on your camera screen to that main monitor, and there are other instances where that might be helpful for you as well. Where I use these two items is if I'm recording a talking head like this, and I have my camera set up and I'm the only operator, I like to be able to see all of my settings that are coming out of the camera. By making it so that I don't have a clean HDMI feed out, I can read all of those very easily. They're larger in size, the font's larger in size, and so that is useful. Now, if I'm out with a client, I want to be able to see everything that's being captured by the camera. So in these situations, I'll send a clean HDMI out from the camera to the monitor so that I can see everything that's in the frame and I'm not distracted by the settings. These are important because whatever camera you're looking to purchase, you want to make sure that first of all, it can send a signal out. Typically that's an HDMI signal. Secondly, can it send a clean HDMI out? This is something that's important for me personally. Also, I use my cameras to do live streams and those types of things. So having a clean HDMI out is something to consider. The functionality that I must have in my external monitors, first one is the size. I like a 5-ish inch external monitor. It works really well for me size-wise if I do have to mount a monitor to a run-and-gun type of a camera situation. And then also it's large enough in studio so that I can see everything clearly if I'm doing a talking head shot like this. When it comes to in-camera functionality, these are the 4 items that I absolutely have to have when it comes to using an external monitor. The first is false color, zebras, waveform, and focus assist. So of course, the main thing in any shot is to make sure that everything is focused correctly. That's how I use focus assist. Now, sometimes I am wanting to focus something in the foreground or maybe even in the background. And it's not always easy to see what's in or out of focus on a small size screen, but you can do that not only by visually looking at your external monitor, but you can also turn focus assist on. You can set the color that you want to have on your monitor. There's blue, white, red, and I think yellow. So you can choose whatever color you want to visually see on your monitor. And that way you can quickly see if things are actually in focus. The other thing that's so important is to make sure that you are exposed correctly. So I actually use false color, zebras, and waveforms to make sure that my image is exposed correctly. The closer I can get to perfect exposure on site with a client, the easier things are going to be in the edit. So while I'm setting up my shot, I'll use zebras and the waveform just to make sure that I'm falling within certain boundaries that I have set. You can set your zebras to 80%, 90%, 100%, whatever it is to make sure that you're not overexposed. I'll look at zebras very quickly, and then I'll move to waveforms. I just want to make sure that my image is in between 100 and 0. So if you are exposed over 100 in a waveform, then you're overexposed. And if you're exposing under 0, then your blacks are too black, and you definitely want to make those corrections. So I just use this as a high-level guideline to make sure that I am exposed in between 0 and 100 while I'm shooting. Now, the option I use the most personally is false color. This gives me the ability to see my image, whether I am shooting with a color profile applied to the image or if I'm shooting in log, I can quickly see how I'm exposing my image. So if I want to expose for someone's face, then I just want to make sure that everything is kind of in this green color or maybe in this gray color. If it is appearing white, that means that the face is overexposed. If I want to expose for the background, same thing applies. False color is my favorite because it gives you this range of colors to let you know where your exposure lies. I like to see green in whatever it is that I'm exposing, or mostly green. If I start to see white, then I can quickly make a decision as to whether or not I'm overexposing that image. So false color is my favorite. It's my mostly used tool, and I'm using it, particularly this one, for all my video shoots. So for me, this is where false color really stands out, is you're looking at a standard picture profile right now coming out of my camera. If I turn false color on, you can see what that exposure looks like. If I turn false color off, well, you can still see that things look pretty well exposed. But if I'm shooting in log, it's a little more difficult to be able to determine what's exposed well or not. So you can see shooting in log means that I have more of a grayish looking export out of my camera. If I turn false color on, that's where you can see the exposure, and that's where I can verify whether or not I have my image exposed properly. Now, a more advanced way to handle this, or if you want to, you can load a LUT, which means that you are loading a color image over that log flat file, and you can see the color there. But most of the time, that's not how I'm shooting on set. I want to be able to choose whatever color profile I want to apply to that video in the edit. And so while I'm on site, lots of times I'm looking at just a flat color profile on my external monitor, and having false color gives me a quick and easy way to check that I'm exposed properly. As for the Atomos Ninja 5, same thing here. This doesn't have the tactile buttons, but down below I can look at my false color, zebras, waveform, and focus assist. In fact, I can customize that menu on the screen so I can have those 4 items visible at all times. And I just cycle through these settings just as I do with the other monitor, the OC monitor that I have. The only difference being that one is touch screen and the other has a tactile button where I can press and physically move around on the screen. I use these monitors in 2 different ways. If I'm recording myself in studio, I'll have a monitor pointing at me. It's just mounted to my tripod. If I'm out and about with a client, I can mount this monitor on top of my camera, or I can also mount it on a tripod. If I'm shooting with multiple cameras, I can set the monitors up so they're pointing to wherever I might be sitting. I can quickly see what that image looks like while I am recording on set. And there's so many different ways to use these external monitors, but they're definitely something you should add to your toolkit. Now, there is additional functionality that these monitors have that I didn't go over today, but these are items that I absolutely have to have when it comes to purchasing a monitor. The other 2 items that I also look out for are the brightness of the screen. So if I'm shooting outside, I definitely want to be able to see the image that's being displayed on the monitor. And then the other thing is that I want to be able to use an external battery or an external power source to power the monitor. So there are monitors out there where you can charge the monitor. You'd have to charge the internal battery before you go out and use it. That means that you can't switch out batteries while you're on site and shooting. So if you are shooting longer videos, then definitely consider choosing one with an external battery. So did I miss anything? Is there functionality that you like to have in your external monitors? Let me know in the comments below. I will place links to the monitors that I went over today, but there are a ton out there. So my suggestion to you is to think about the functionality, how you intend on using those monitors, what you should consider, and then as you're searching, then just look for that specific functionality, and I'm sure you'll find the monitor that works best for you. So thanks as always for tuning in. Before you head out, hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Be sure to subscribe. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll see you again in next week's video.